In 2014, it was nearly impossible to lose a commercial airliner. Between GPS arrays, constant satellite links, and overlapping radar zones, thousands of flights were tracked across the globe down to the exact second. Malaysia Airlines Flight MH370 was part of that massive tracking grid. On March 8th, the Boeing 777 departed Kuala Lumpur on a routine overnight route to Beijing, carrying 239 people. Less than an hour into the flight, as it crossed the airspace boundary between Malaysia and Vietnam, a navigational coordinate known as waypoint Igari, the plane's Mode S transponder went completely offline. The aircraft vanished from civilian air traffic screens. The cockpit went entirely dark. No radio calls, no distress signals. A massive multinational search fleet immediately deployed to sweep the surface of the South China Sea, scanning thousands of square miles of ocean. They found absolutely nothing. Conventional tracking had failed. To figure out where this massive machine went, investigators had to abandon their standard protocols. Instead of looking for physical wreckage, they began hunting for invisible, highly technical data signals left behind in the vacuum. The first major breakthrough came from the Malaysian military. Their primary defense radar had captured a raw, unidentified signal. Right after the transponder shut down, the aircraft banked into a sharp 180-degree turn, reverting course back over peninsular Malaysia. Whoever was flying the plane chose to disable the transponder precisely in a radar dead space. Air traffic controllers expect a brief radio silence when handing off a flight between countries, and this perfectly timed maneuver bought the aircraft a 17-minute head start before anyone on the ground realized it was missing. The military radar tracked the plane flying past Penang Island and up the Strait of Malacca. It finally faded from their screens at waypoint Mekar over the Andaman Sea, traveling steadily northwest at a normal cruising altitude. A catastrophic mechanical failure or sudden explosion doesn't result in a steady, level flight path for 6 more hours. The precision of the course reversal and the maintained altitude indicate the aircraft remained intact and was under manual control. Even though the cockpit communications were dead, a piece of hardware deep inside the plane called the Satellite Data Unit automatically rebooted. Once an hour, it sent a brief automated electronic ping to a geostationary satellite operated by a company called Inmarsat. Engineers tracked these pings using a metric called burst timing offset. By measuring the exact microsecond delay it took for a radio signal to travel from the plane to the satellite, they calculated a specific distance radius. Projecting that distance down onto the Earth creates a vast circular ring where the plane could possibly be. Every hour, a new ping generated a new ring. 7 pings resulted in 7 expanding circles, pushing further out over the ocean, ending in a final boundary known to searchers as the 7th arc. But a ring only shows distance, not direction. To solve this, scientists used the burst frequency offset. Because the satellite wobbled slightly in its orbit, it created a Doppler shift in the radio frequency, stretching and compressing the signal based on the plane's relative movement.
This math ruled out a northern route, highlighting a path deep into the south. This data log shows the satellite handshakes. Look closely at the final, uncommanded ping at the 7th arc. The burst frequency offset drops drastically to -182 Hz. This massive frequency shift tells us the aircraft was in a rapid, uncommanded descent, aligning perfectly with dual-engine flameout from fuel exhaustion. By extracting abstract orbital mechanics and measuring microscopic radio delays, investigators mapped the ghost flight. They traced the silent 777 thousands of miles away from its intended destination, straight into a desolate region of the southern Indian Ocean. In 2015, the ocean began to offer its own physical proof. Large, confirmed pieces of Boeing 777 debris began washing ashore on beaches across East Africa and the western Indian Ocean islands. Marine biologists examined stalked barnacles attached to a recovered wing flaperon. By analyzing the chemical isotopes in the barnacle shells, they determined exactly what water temperatures the creatures had lived in. The isotope profile matched the specific, cooler waters located along the 7th arc. Researchers in Australia then placed replica flaperons equipped with GPS trackers into the ocean. The current models showed that debris released near the 7th arc in March of 2014
would naturally drift and land on those exact African coastlines 15 months later. Digital forensics offered a final layer of corroboration. This table shows data recovered by the FBI from the captain's home flight simulator. 5 weeks before the disappearance, a simulated flight path was saved. Note points 4 and 5. They plot a course into the deep southern Indian Ocean, ending in fuel exhaustion at coordinates matching the satellite math. We have 3 completely independent datasets: satellite orbital mathematics, marine biology drift models, and a deleted digital file. All 3 converge on the exact same remote stretch of water, removing any reasonable doubt about where the flight ended. The international safety investigations reached a unified, grim consensus. The aircraft was manually diverted and flew for 6 hours until total fuel exhaustion triggered an uncommanded, high-speed spiral dive into the water. Yet massive blind spots remain. The data tells us exactly how the aircraft vanished, but it cannot tell us why. We still don't know why the transponder was manually cut, and we don't know why neither pilot broadcast a simple radio distress call. And despite executing the most thorough and expensive underwater sonar sweep in human history, the heavy main fuselage, the massive engines, and the crucial black boxes remain completely lost in the dark. Aerospace engineers are now looking to historical radio wave anomalies, a technology called WSPR, to refine the crash zone down to a smaller, hyper-specific grid. This new data is paving the way for advanced, automated underwater drone swarms to launch a renewed search. The loss of MH370 leaves us with a humbling reality. Even when wrapped in the most advanced digital tracking grid humanity has ever constructed, the sheer scale of the natural world can swallow a 200-ton machine, leaving us chasing ghosts of data in the dark.